The Blind Deception. Tombiza was a town that grew from a tiny village in the west of Africa. In this town lived a man named Kange. Kange excelled at the things he put his hands on. He was known throughout the town as a hard-working farmer, a loving husband, and a man of great wisdom. His wife Boma was the jewel of his eyes, a woman of unparalleled beauty and grace. She was the envy and talk of the town, both in terms of beauty as well as character. Together, they were the epitome of a perfect couple, or so it seemed. The truth that remained was, beneath the surface of their seemingly perfect marriage, Kange harbored a growing suspicion. Whispers and rumors had reached his ears, suggesting that Boma's affection might not be solely his. The thought chipped away at his focus most of the time, but he had no concrete evidence to confront her. Determined to uncover the truth, Kange devised a plan that would test the very fabric of the relationship he had with his wife. One fateful morning, Kange woke up and announced to the village that he had lost his sight. This was a rather unconventional ruse. He claimed illness had taken away his vision overnight. People around the town found this amazing and confusing. They would not wrap their heads around the spontaneity of Kangen's blindness. Many convinced him to see the eye doctor, but he refused. The townspeople were shocked and saddened by the news, offering their sympathies and assistance. Boma, too, played the role of a devoted wife, caring for her blind husband with apparent tenderness. Though this required devotion and sacrifice, she assisted Kange through this ordeal with fortitude. But Kange's blindness was a lie, a carefully crafted deception to observe Boma's true nature. They say who we are is what we do when no one is actually seeing us. Of course, blind men don't see, though they may perceive. So Kange relied on his other senses, listening intently to the sounds around him, feeling the vibration of footsteps and using his keen intuition to navigate his daily life. The experience was even more challenging than the art of faking originality. He pretended to be helpless all the while, watching and waiting for any sign of betrayal. This deception went on for quite a while, and then Kange's art of blindness became more convincing. He stumbled around the house, knocking over objects, and often called out for Boma's help. She responded with patience and care, but Kange noticed marginal changes in her behavior. She would leave the house more frequently, often returning late evening or early night with flimsy excuses. Kange's heart ached with the growing certainty that his worst fears were coming true. One evening, as the town was bathed in the soft glow of twilight, Kange heard hushed voices outside their home. He recognized Boma's voice, but the other voice was unfamiliar. He poked his head out through the narrow opening at the door, but he could not make out who the person was. After all, night had started to cast its shadows over the environment. Straining his ears, he caught snippets of this conversation, enough to confirm his suspicion. Boma was reckless with this conversation. She let him hear them. She knew he could not see, but was she rubbing it on his face by not only bringing a man to the house, but organizing a meeting right under his nose? She was indeed meeting another man, and their secret meetings had been going on for some time. Kange's heart pounded with a mix of anger and sorrow. He knew he had to confront Boma, but he needed to catch her in the act to have undeniable proof. The next day, he pretended to be more helpless than ever, asking Boma to guide him to the town square. She reluctantly agreed, and as they walked, Kange stumbled and fell, clutching his leg in pain. Boma rushed to his side. "Kange, are you alright?" she asked, her voice filled with worry. "I am fine. Kange replied, his voice steady. But I need to rest for a moment. Can you help me sit down? Boma helped him to a nearby bench, and Kange closed his eyes, pretending to be in pain as he sat there. He listened intently, waiting for the moment when Boma would leave him alone. It didn't take long. She made an excuse about fetching water and hurried away. Kange waited for a few minutes before rising to his feet. He followed the sound of Boma's footsteps like every blind person does, keeping a safe distance. His heart raced as he approached a secluded spot near the edge of the town. There, hidden behind a large tree, he saw Boma in the arms of another man. Even in this moment of Kange's supposed crisis, the sight shattered Kange's heart, but he remained silent, watching as they exchanged words of affection. He had seen enough. With a heavy heart, he turned and made his way back home, his mind racing with thoughts of what to do next. That night, as they sat together in their room, Kange decided it was time to reveal the truth. Boma, he began, his voice trembling, I have something to tell you. Boma looked at him, her eyes filled with concern. What is it, Kange? She felt her throat tighten. I can see, he said, his voice steady. I have been able to see all along, he told her. All the while he proclaimed blindness and ensuing helplessness he exhibited. He had only been pretending and could see very well, but had to do so as to see for himself what he had been suspecting. What do you mean? I pretended to be blind to catch you in your lies, Kange continued, his voice filled with pain. I know about your affair. Boma's eyes filled with tears, and she fell to her knees. Kange, I am sorry. I never meant to hurt you. Kange's heart ached with a mix of anger and sorrow. Why, Boma? Why did you betray me? Even my supposed blindness was not even a reason to make you reverse your actions. Like, really? Boma sobbed, her shoulders shaking. I don't know. I was lonely and I made a terrible mistake. Please forgive me. Kange looked at her, his heart torn. He loved Boma, but her betrayal had cut deep. I don't know if I can forgive you, he said quietly, but I need time to think. Days turned to week and Kange has not given Boma a reply. Kange was taking forever to think. The waiting period seemed to be endless. What made it especially more unpleasant was that their communication was ruined. Kange would not talk to her again. He would not even respond to her greetings. Why Kange didn't drive her away was because of his family members and his friends. Also, he was taught by his religion that marriage was sacred and should not be conveniently dissolved, even if one had all the reasons to do so. So he ensured, hoping that time would heal the wounds etched upon his heart. After what seemed like an eternity, Boma told Kange she wanted to have a word with him one of the evenings. He reluctantly obliged. When they sat down for the meeting, Boma started by apologizing once again. She reminded Kange of how they had married even when everyone opposed the union. These reminders were what broke the poetry for Kange. He told her he needed her to leave his house. She could also choose to stay, if that was what she wanted. He reasoned she needed a place to stay that would afford her the comfort and opportunity to raise their children. He asked her to choose. If you insist, Kange, I will stay here. After all, I have a place in my husband's house. That touched Kange, but the pain he felt was beyond every emotions, as far as it concerned Boma. This story ran wide around the town. Some hated Kange for setting traps for his wife and demonizing her after she failed. Some defended him, blaming her for especially continuing in her reckless acts in the face of his supposed blindness. Kange and Boma parted ways, sadly. First of all, they separated. He moved out. They had separated but not divorced. During the period of their being apart, Kange would visit so as to see his kids. He would do everything to avoid Boma. It is said that the biggest casualties are the children. It is especially more painful because they are always innocent. Kange realized he was letting his children caught in between his feud with his wife. He moved back to them but would have very little or nothing to do with Boma initially. Space shared together can impact on one's life. It did on Kange. Gradually but definitely, he and Boma started to get back together. Well, they revived their love. Kange had every reason to be skeptical, but surely he eventually relapsed into Boma's arms. Boma did not know if to be happy or expect the pack of cards to crumble a second time. However, she kept faith alive. Kange got soft around Boma again. He chose to tell that path of freedom. He knew he had loved Boma and could love her again a second time. He consoled himself with the fact that all humans made mistakes, including himself, even though this comes in different shades. Kange and Boma got back together. This time, Boma promised herself not to ever waver from the focus of loving Kange without any reservation, come what may. And so, the love that had suffered a deadly blow by deceit and infidelity was revived and soared high beyond reproach. The townspeople praised the intentional comeback that Boma and Kange effected in what had seemed like a loss. And so, our esteemed viewers, the lesson for us is love always wins. Never give up on love. Most importantly, stay faithful to your partner so as to avoid the headaches that come with infidelity. Prevention is better and cheaper than getting a cure. Thank you for watching our video. Kindly like and comment on our videos. Subscribe our channel and share with your friends and family. See you on the next one. Stay safe.